The Rams Pro Bowlers are out. They have 4. I'm going to get into exactly who they are, and I'm just going to give you my thoughts on why they made it, give them some praise, but also I want to back my guys because I think there are a few snubs on this one. So we'll get into it. Before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. You can follow me at JK Bogan on all of social media, and let's find this. Let's just do this thing, right? First, let's congratulate Matthew Stafford. Let's congratulate running back Kyren Williams, wide receiver Puka Nacua, and defensive lineman Aaron Donald, who are all part of that 4 that are going to the Pro Bowl. Now, the goal is to never play in the Pro Bowl because that means that you made the Super Bowl, and that's all that really matters. But as we've seen, Isaac Bruce got dinged for it, and Torrey Holt's now getting dinged for it. The lack of Pro Bowls matters when you're talking about the Hall of Fame. Obviously, no one should ever expect Aaron Donald to be left out, even if there's somebody trying to make their analysis, their point, whatever. The point is Aaron Donald hasn't slowed down. He had 84 pressures this year. He's 3rd in win rate among all pass rushers. He has 53 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, and 23 quarterback hits. And to boot, he's now the only defensive lineman since 1970 to make the Pro Bowl in each of his 10 seasons. So there's a 1 of 1, and that's Aaron Donald. I really, when I say he's the greatest defensive player of all time, I mean that. And I know I didn't watch back in the day, but it doesn't take a scientist, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Aaron Donald is 1 of 1. Simply put. Okay, so obviously those are my thoughts on Aaron Donald making it. No brainer there. Was among the top in most pass rushing. Obviously, we know what he can do as a run defender. He's just outstanding. Only 8 sacks. I get people are gonna have an issue with that. I don't really care. I think sacks are somewhat overrated. Putting on 84 pressures is more important than having 8 sacks anyway. So, we'll leave it at that. Wide receiver Puka Nacua. He's got 101 receptions currently. The hope is that he's going to get at least 4 this weekend and break the rookie record held by Jalen Waddle back in 2021. And, of course, he has 1,445. That's 1,445 yards receiving. He's 29 away from breaking Bill Groman's record that was set in 1960. So the hope is that he can have a 4-catch, 29-yard performance, get out of the game, stay healthy and everything. Maybe they keep him going, but that's the hope. He is very deserving of this award. Puka Nacua was outstanding this year. A 5th rounder. Aaron Donald's a 1st rounder, okay? Matthew Stafford's a 1st rounder. A 5th rounder? That's pretty crazy. When you talk about a 5th round wide receiver in a year where everyone's talking about the receivers, Quentin Johnston, they were talking about JSN, they were talking about Zay Flowers. I mean, I was talking about Zay Flowers, to be fair. A lot of fun to watch. But all these 1st round caliber wide receivers, and no one was talking about Puka Nacua. There's a few. I'm not going to say nobody. There's always somebody out there that's saying something. But there's no way the Rams could have seen what this season would be. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, he's not that far off from having a 1,500-yard season, and he's a top 5 wide receiver in terms of yardage. And when Puka Nacua had to step in for Cooper Kupp going down for 4 games, we saw all the attention went to him, and he was still making plays. So you got to give a lot of credit where credit's due. Puka Nacua, he's also made some of the craziest circus contact-driven catches I've ever seen. So shout out to him. He had very well deserved to make the Pro Bowl. All right, number 2 here, going into number 1, of course, but we're kind of counting down here. Kyren Williams made the Pro Bowl. Thank God. 15 total touchdowns. 1,350 total yards from scrimmage, 5.2 yards per touch, only 12 games played. If he played 5 games, which he's going to miss this weekend, if he played 5 games that he missed, he would have been up for the top running back. He would have been up for the first team All-Pro. He might not even get an All-Pro award because Mostert, I kind of have a weird feeling, is going to get that second. But in reality, Kyren Williams has been the second best running back. If he learns how to catch the way Christian McCaffrey is, and I mean no disrespect by that, but if he starts, running full-on routes and everything, and being used in that way, because it takes 2 to tango. He can run the routes, but if he's not getting the ball thrown in those positions, then whatever. But Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football. Kyren Williams is second. Well deserving, and I'm glad that they see that. So he gets the nod. And then last but not least here, Matthew Stafford, 9-6, a 62.6 completion percentage, 3,965 yards, which is sixth in the league. He finished tied for 10th in touchdowns with 24, 11 interceptions, 92.5 passer rating, 33 big-time throws, which is tied for third, and 12 turnover-worthy plays, which in reality is first because the guys ahead of him, or rather lower than him, good thing to be lower in turnover-worthy plays, they didn't even play the full season. Stafford had 12 turnover-worthy plays last year when he played 9 games, and he had 12 this year when he played 15. So give him a lot of credit. He just elevated his game to another level down the stretch. It really felt like he was playing playoff football. His head was in the right space. He dealt with injury this year. Didn't matter. I think his big shining moment has to be the Colts game. I don't think I've seen many quarterbacks pick themselves up off the ground gingerly. This guy could barely move. And what we saw on that final drive in OT to come back and win the game, not come back, but win the game in OT on the road against the Colts, who ended up being a really good team. They're fighting for a playoff spot this weekend, winning their in situation. Outstanding. Big moment for Stafford. It's only his second Pro Bowl, I guess third if you consider he was a Pro Bowl alternate in 2021. But yeah, that it just really impressed. And, I understand it's kind of weird because he wasn't a full-on Pro Bowler the year he had 41 touchdowns and is the year he has 24. But that's just the way kind of the NFL is right now. It's not as high scoring. It's not as offensive, high powered as it was 2 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think about. Can't go on this video without, first mentioning Scoot's guy. Scoot, if you're watching, I wasn't going to forget. Ben Skoranek, special teams alternate. Skoranek did block a field goal. It came back because they said he ran and jumped. I think it was very ticky-tack, whatever. But Skoranek, nice job. He gets alternate. We'll see if he ends up getting in or not. But alternate still matters, so it's worth pointing it out. All right, now let's get into it because we talked about who made it, but I have serious thoughts about who missed it. And I have a legit argument to a bone to pick, if you will. First off, we'll go down the list here. Kevin Dotson, okay? Currently, PFF has him as the number 2 overall guard in football, according to their grades. Number 5 among all offensive linemen per PFF. He did not get in. I don't know how he didn't get in. I think it's ridiculous. I know he was bummed about it. Thanked everyone for voting for him. He should have gotten in. Kind of ridiculous. I'm sure he definitely wanted it. His agent probably wanted it going into a contract year. It's just a nice little thing to have when you're negotiating. Right tackle Rob Havenstein, 5th at the position right now, according to PFF at right tackle. He's 10th, of all offensive linemen, according to PFF. Another guy. I mean, these two guys on the right side, look at what Kyren Williams does when he runs to the right. It's because of these two guys. So be very cognizant of that and give them credit because they definitely deserve, a lot of credit. If it's not Pro Bowl, they deserve their name to be mentioned. Although I will say maybe Rob Havenstein's pushing it a little bit because he wasn't like top, 3 or whatever. Dotson, there's no excuse. Dotson, it was a popularity contest, and he didn't win. So that's what it comes down to. Defensive lineman Kobe Turner. Now, hear me out when I say this, because I know some people will be like, all right, Jake, we get it, Defensive Rookie of the Year, but now you're pushing it with the Pro Bowl. I don't think I am. He's number 8 at the position, and I think people hear that and think, all right, I'm being a little homer, but he's number 1 at the position since week 11. Kobe Turner is one of the best defensive linemen in football over the last 7 games. These are the facts. And he's been one of the best defensive linemen when he started getting regular playing time. So you know what that tells me? He's one of the best defensive linemen in football. And the Rams found another steal. And he doesn't get in because, Aaron Donald and the stigma of playing next to Aaron Donald. But what did I tell you? This guy's been double teamed more than Donald lately. So I think Turner was a snub. I think Havenstein was a snub. I think Dotson was a massive snub. Another one I'm going to throw out there is Ernest Jones. Not only does he lead all inside linebackers in pressures because he's been the best blitzing linebacker in football, but he's number 6 at the position, according to PFF grading, and he's number 4 against the run, according to PFF, and he's one of the best linebackers in football over the last 7. Again, Ernest Jones got snubbed hard in this one. I think Kevin Dotson's the biggest. Ernest Jones, Kobe Turner, Havenstein all got snubbed. And my last one, I'm going to go to bat for my guy because you know what? He's played really good football, and I'm not going to let the last 2 weeks, which I think are way overblown, ruin that. The fact of the matter is that Ahkello Witherspoon has had a really good season for the Los Angeles Rams. You have to think about the fact that, look, this up front, the pressure with, Kobe Turner and Aaron Donald, that sure exists. You have to give him credit that it does exist, but it's not consistent. They're not consistent sacks off the edge. It's not like he's dealing with having, a Leonard Floyd, a Von Miller, having those type of guys, a Josh Allen, a Max Crosby, and so forth. Byron Young is a rookie. He's good, but he's a rookie, and he's not on the level of consistent pressure like a Nick Bosa. So it makes their job a little bit more difficult. And their job, I mean the Rams cornerbacks. And when I look at Ahkello Witherspoon, right now, he is 3rd in catch percentage for corners. Also, when I look at Ahkello Witherspoon, I see Devin Witherspoon made the Pro Bowl. I'll say this. I have nothing against Devin Witherspoon. My number 1 corner in the draft, the Seahawks guy, an absolute stud. Guy plays the game the right way. He's fun to watch. But he's not better than Ahkello right now, and he should not have gotten in, and this is why. So first off, I mentioned the catch percentage is 3rd in the league. It's at 48.4, only behind Martin Emerson Jr. and Joey Porter Jr. Devin Witherspoon's at 53.8. He has 13 forced incompletions. Devin Witherspoon has 12. He has 10 PBUs. Devin Witherspoon also has 10. He has 3 interceptions. Devin Witherspoon has 1. He has 5 touchdowns given up, although I will say he's only given up 3. I think PFF has given him some touchdowns in which maybe one of the safeties, I'm not going to name names, but one of the safeties might have given up. And Devin Witherspoon has given up 4. The targeted passer rating is important here. Ahkello Witherspoon has given up 78.1 targeted rating. He has a 78.1 when quarterbacks target him. And quarterbacks targeting Devin Witherspoon, 85.4. Snaps per reception, Ahkello, 13.4, Devin 13.1. So what am I saying here? What am I making? What argument am I making without actually saying it? Ahkello has had a tougher time. He's had way tougher assignments. He's been asked to do way more than Devin, and I understand Devin's having a really good rookie year, but the fact of the matter is that this is a popularity contest here. Devin was a first rounder. Devin was picked by Seattle, and Ahkello Witherspoon is not being talked about anywhere near enough. Now, if he was on primetime, as much as, say, Devin Witherspoon was, this might have been different. However, he only played in primetime twice, and the one time he was on primetime, he had a huge interception that was covered up by the Rams' loss to the Bengals. And then the second time, he gave up the touchdown against the Saints. So recency bias, he's not going to make it. Unfortunately, I think it is a big deal because when you look at Devin Witherspoon, he's played 300+ snaps in the slot. He's not even playing the same. The assignments are different, and he's not even doing the same thing that Ahkello is. So Ahkello just gave up his first game this year. I think first game of his career, over 100 yards in a game. He's been pretty sturdy and locked down and everything. Dealt with a groin a little bit, which, as we know, that came up on the injury report. So I think he's been battling that and fighting that. But he's had a great year. And obviously, you give Les Snead a lot of credit. But I wanted to throw him in the race too. I think he should have made the Pro Bowl, especially if Devin's going to make it, because I think he had a better season than Devin Witherspoon. So in conclusion, your Pro Bowlers, Matthew Stafford, Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Aaron Donald, and your snubs, I would say Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein, Kobe Turner, Ernest Jones, and Ahkello Witherspoon. And I feel confident saying that. Next year, what are we going to see from these guys? Well, I'll say this. I think, you could see a Byron Young jump in there. There are probably some guys that we don't even know who are going to be on the Rams next year that jump on. But I'm hoping to see a big turn here for Quentin Lake. He's had some issues with injuries, but if he's able to stay healthy next year, I think Quentin Lake could have a serious push. And it's got to be Ernest Jones' year next year. The guy's been chomping at the bit. He's been waiting. So that's what I'll say there. But appreciate you guys checking out my Pro Bowl reaction video. Look, Pro Bowl is not everything, but it is something. And I know that, the parents of these players are watching. And I know that like some coaches I know watch this. And I just want to make it very clear how I'm going to go to bat for guys that do their job, that do their job at a high level. And, one of those guys in particular, I'd say Bobby Brown, because I think quite often, you get so lost in the sauce, essentially, is that these guys are putting up all these numbers. And you got this guy and this guy and this guy. But, guys like Bobby Brown are in the trenches. They're doing the dirty work. They're taking on double and triple teams so other guys can get one-on-one matchups. The reason why I brought him up as an example is because this is how I feel. When you have a Puka Nacua, you have Kyron Williams, 2 fifth-rounders that are absolutely exploding, and you got Matthew Stafford, and you got Aaron Donald, it's easy to kind of forget that these other guys are doing work. And when you see what Akello's done, just being signed, a 1-year deal off the street after the Steelers gave up on him, he's been everything you could ask for in a number 1 corner replacing Jalen Ramsey. When you look at Ernest Jones, a 3rd-round linebacker, everything you could ask for trying to fill in after losing Bobby Wagner last year. When you look at Kobe Turner, a late 3rd rounder, everything you could ask for filling in for a Greg Gaines, for an Ashawn Robinson. And then you look at, Rob Havenstein and you look at Kevin Dotson, and those guys have been everything you could ask for on an offensive line that's still trying to pick up the pieces after losing Andrew Whitworth to retirement. So when you see these guys and the way they've stepped up and they don't get talked about because they don't play as sexy of a position, they're not scoring touchdowns, that's why I do what I do, and I put them out there and I give them their praise. So appreciate you guys for watching this as always. Man, I got so much stuff to do, a lot of content to create, but this is one of a few that you'll be seeing soon. So be sure to check out some of my other stuff. I talked about Carson Wentz starting, obviously the Believe in Rams episode that I absolutely loved recording with Cam. Got DTR tomorrow that we're recording. And, I got a guest coming on Friday. We're going to do a live stream, 49er creator. I won't name him, but you'll see. So yeah, a lot of stuff planned. Got to get you guys ready. We're starting off big time. It's 2024. No, all gas, no brakes, right? So I'll see you guys soon. You can follow me at JK Bogan, and you guys take care. Later, folks.
Start playing Pick'em or Weekly Fantasy for any sport today, Jake. Users will receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 if they use promo code OTE at sign up. Start playing Pick'em and Weekly Fantasy Football today with Underdog Fantasy.
Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.